XCN is starting to wake up a little bit, but I think better days are ahead because the dollar, I still have my target on that when it comes to this bull run, even though that's not financial advice. Now, not too long ago, a lot of people thought that XCN was over, it's done with, but I never thought that. Even though the price was, of course, going down by a whole lot from its most recent top, I was totally aware of that, but I believed in the fundamentals. I always knew what the Onyx protocol was capable of because, after all, it's a decentralized blockchain infrastructure that is designed to improve financial services. And I think all of this right here is really going to contribute to it really gaining a lot of momentum during a fully fledged bull run because when we take a look at the Onyx protocol, it's very similar in nature to something like Ripple, aka XRP, and Stellar, aka XLM. And naturally, I think something like that is, of course, going to gain a lot of attention because even though Ripple is amazing, even though Stellar is amazing, sometimes people, they want other options, and there's nothing wrong with that. And in my opinion, we've seen that time and time again. Take a look at when people believed in Ethereum. They eventually moved on to Solana. Then they moved on to other projects like an Avalanche, like an Algorand. So the way I take a look at it is that it's kind of no different here. And if we take a look at the Onyx protocol, what I do really like about its future is the potential for a very amazing thing, and that is something called Goliath. Now, there's still a lot of unanswered questions when it comes to Goliath because Goliath is allegedly going to be this very amazing layer 1 blockchain for the world of finance. And the testnet is planned to be launched in Q3 of this year, while the mainnet is planned to be launched in Q1 of next year. Now, why could this be amazing? It's because naturally, again, when we take a look at people that are focused on this space, they want to look for projects that are improving. They want to look for projects that are trying to do something new. And it's not like making a layer 1 blockchain for the world of finance is anything new or anything like that. But I think if anything, this kind of solidifies Onyx as a premier player within this space. And it's a very massive thing to be focused on markets like this because when you take a look at it, the payments market is currently valued at over $2 trillion, which is amazing because the GDP of Brazil last year in 2024 was around $2 trillion. And Brazil, it's very wonderful. It's very amazing. So I think that, if anything, really showcases that, hey, the payments market is very massive. Not to mention, we take a look at the global trade and finance market, which is predicted to reach up to $5 trillion in value by 2028, according to Mordor Intelligence. I mean, really, when it comes to something like Onyx, they're, again, clearly focused on the right markets. And for the people out there that say that, hey, AI is where the hype is at, AI is amazing, and it is, granted, there's a lot of hype, there's a lot of cool factor there. But the way to take a look at it is that probably this space, in theory, should actually maybe have more attention than the AI market, even though in terms of hype and in terms of cool factor, it does not have that. And let me explain why. The AI market is predicted to reach nearly $2 trillion in value by 2030, according to Grandview Research. Again, just like I mentioned not too long ago, the payments market is already valued at over $2 trillion currently. It doesn't have to wait 5 years to do that. Not to mention, again, the global trade and finance market predicted to reach up to $5 trillion in value by 2028. That's over double what the AI market is predicted to reach in terms of market valuation by 2030, according to Grandview Research. So, should the AI market have more hype and attention? I think probably, it's debatable in a sense that in terms of hype, in terms of cool factor, it should because it's very revolutionary. But in terms of attention, in theory, I think this should actually have more because just take a look at the pure numbers. This is the way I view it. However, of course, I'm totally aware of the fact that AI is very interesting and very cool, and I do love that. Now, here's the thing. When we take a look at what is also another major catalyst that I think is going on for Onyx during this bull run, and that is the fact that of the Ripple and SEC case allegedly dropping, hopefully forever. Now, why is this a big deal? Some people like to say that, if Ripple does bad, that's good news for something like Onyx. Well, I disagree with that. Ripple, aka XRP, that's the market leader. We need that to do good, in my opinion, hypothetically. Now, naturally, if that does do good and a lot of attention is on there, naturally, a lot of it, or should I say some of it, is going to start trickling down to other projects that are focused on those areas. Much like, for instance, something like XCN. So it's very good news. I don't think it's bad whatsoever, actually, if something like Ripple, aka XRP, does well. Some people, they're under this idea that, hey, the market leader needs to do bad so XCN can overtake it. XCN is never going to overtake Ripple. It's never going to happen. So, of course, we want that to do good. It's like, for instance, Bitcoin doing bad is going to be bad news for something like Ethereum, in my opinion. I believe that if Bitcoin does do good, there's a lot of attention. Naturally, something like Ethereum is going to go along with the ride. So it's no different here, really. And also, when I take a look at this whole space, I think if anything, it was a blessing in disguise that the Ripple and SEC case went down. And for quite a while, there was a lot of fear and a lot of FUD. Now, some people may be thinking, okay, how is that a blessing in disguise? Well, it's because due to that, many developers, they were not willing to really enter into this space. And I think probably because they were in this mindset where they're going to put a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of resources to make a project that's, let's say, focused on payments or global trade and finance. And then it's in a market that has a bad reputation where the market leader is having some alleged, maybe potential illegal things going on. Who knows, right? Whatever you want to put it. But the way to take a look at it is that I think probably they thought, okay, yeah, we're going to shift our focus towards NFTs, DeFi, blockchain gaming. And I think as a result, now there's not that many dynamic competitors. So something like XCN really has this amazing position where, hey, it could be really something special during a fully fledged bull run and be a solid alternative to something like XRP and maybe also something like XLM too. So this is something that I do really like when it comes to XCN. And keep in mind, when we take a look at this whole space, there really isn't that many dynamic competitors. I mean, let's just let this sink in. XRP is number 1, XLM is number 2. We all know that. Number 3 as of right now is XDC. But number 4, arguably, I would say is XCN currently. Number 5 is something like ZBCN. And I think number 6 is something like XPR. Number 7, arguably, I would say is Swiftcoin. And number 8, there's really no dynamic or famous ones. Now, some people could argue that, hey, something like Ondo could fit somewhere along the way, but Ondo is a little bit different in my opinion. So arguably, I would say there's 7 major players within this space. And it's not like the DeFi or NFT market or blockchain gaming where there's like 20 or 30 famous projects. Many people can't even name more than 5, let alone in this case, let's say 10. Now, keep in mind, if XCN were to go to the price of $1, considering current circulating supply, market cap would be around $33 billion, which is around a 47x from here. I don't think it's too bad. Take a look at XRP. Not too long ago, market cap was around $150 billion. And again, XRP even still currently has a market cap that is well beyond $100 billion. So imagine during a fully fledged bull run what XRP would do. Let's say XRP goes to a market cap of over 500 billion, say goes to 600, 700 billion, whatever the case may be, and let's say the price is over $10. If something like that happens to XRP, why can't something like XCN at least go to around a $33 billion market cap and let's say hypothetically go to the price of $1? I just don't see why that's too crazy. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying that XCN is going to do this today or tomorrow. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying during a fully fledged bull run, I don't see why not. And with the whole space having a little bit of a recovery, I have always thought that, hey, the bull run is far from over. Now, we'll see what happens when it comes to this, but in theory, I believe that still it's far from over because usually altcoins, as a worst case scenario, they typically peak around 18 months after a Bitcoin halving event. Now, the last Bitcoin halving event happened in April of last year, so 18 months from then would actually mean around October this year. Allegedly, that's still a lot of time. Now, this is not a surefire date because there's no guarantees, but you know what? I still believe the bull run is far from over because there's over 600 million crypto owners currently, according to Crypto.com research, which is more than ever before in history. I think this bull run could be very amazing, but it's just a waiting game. XCN, in my opinion, already has the right pieces in place. It has a solid community, it has amazing rock-solid fundamentals, and it's listed in a bunch of major exchanges like, for instance, Coinbase, Kraken, KuCoin, Gate.io, and many others. So it has the 3 main components. It has the exchange listings, it has the community, it has the fundamentals. All it needs to do is just wait for a fully fledged bull run. And man, I really can't wait. It's something that is already prepared. It has the prerequisite. It's like, for instance, when we take college classes and there's prerequisites sometimes, it already has the prerequisites. It just has to wait for the class to start. You know what I mean? So the way to take a look at it is that when it comes to something like XCN, I really can't wait. $1, that's still my price target for this bull run, and I'm very excited. I still believe in its future, and I haven't given up whatsoever, and I'll continue to not give up. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I greatly appreciate it. It's Willie the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm a peace. Bye.